There is an unmistakable tension in the air whenever Sony goes quiet. It is not the reassuring silence of confidence, nor the calm pause before a predictable update. It is a heavier kind of silence, one that makes creators speculate, analyze, and worry. When Sony stops talking, people start asking questions. And for years now, one question has refused to fade away: where is the Sony A7S IV? Across filmmaking forums, YouTube comment sections, and late-night discussions among hybrid shooters, that question keeps resurfacing. Some ask it with hope, others with frustration, and many now ask it with fear. Because silence, when stretched long enough, begins to feel like an answer. To understand why the absence of the Sony A7S IV feels so significant, we need to look back at what the A7S name once represented. The A7S series was never about chasing trends. From the very beginning, it stood in direct opposition to the megapixel race that dominated camera marketing. When the original A7S was introduced, Sony made a deliberate and unconventional decision. Instead of pushing resolution higher, it went lower, far lower than most competitors were willing to consider. A 12-megapixel full-frame sensor did not sound impressive on paper, but it was revolutionary in practice. That sensor was built for one purpose: sensitivity. It was designed to absorb light efficiently, to minimize noise, and to preserve detail in conditions where other cameras fell apart. The A7S did not just perform well in low light, it changed expectations entirely. Suddenly, shooting in near darkness without excessive noise was not a luxury reserved for high-end cinema cameras. It was accessible. That shift redefined what mirrorless cameras could be and who they were for. Filmmakers, documentarians, and event shooters embraced the A7S not because it was flashy, but because it was dependable when conditions were not ideal. The A7S II continued that legacy, refining the formula rather than reinventing it. Improvements to internal recording, stabilization, and overall usability made the camera even more attractive to video-first creators. By this point, the A7S line had established a clear identity. It was not trying to be everything for everyone. It was a specialized tool for those who prioritized video, dynamic range, and low-light performance over sheer resolution. Then came the Sony A7S III, and with it, years of anticipation. The delay surrounding its release became almost legendary. Rumors circulated endlessly, expectations grew dangerously high, and skepticism crept in. Many wondered if Sony had waited too long, if the industry had already moved on. When the A7S III finally arrived in 2020, it had an enormous burden to carry. And yet, for most filmmakers, it delivered. The A7S III felt like a camera that had been carefully considered rather than rushed. It offered stunning 4K video at up to 120 frames per second, exceptional low-light performance, improved color science, and one of the most reliable autofocus systems Sony had ever produced. Perhaps most importantly, it was stable. It did not overheat easily. It did not feel experimental. It felt ready for professional use. For filmmakers, it was a compact cinema-capable camera. For YouTubers, it was a flexible, dependable production tool. And for Sony, it was proof that the S-series still had relevance. But the industry did not pause after 2020. While the A7S III remained highly respected, competitors began pushing boundaries in new directions. Panasonic leaned deeper into video-first design with the S1H and later the GH6, embracing features like open-gate recording and robust codecs. Canon blurred the line between cinema and mirrorless with cameras like the EOS R5C and the C70, creating tools that appeal to both filmmakers and hybrid shooters. Nikon, once criticized for lagging behind, shocked the industry with the Z9 and Z8, offering flagship performance without traditional limitations like mechanical shutters. Sony, meanwhile, was far from inactive. The company expanded its alpha lineup aggressively. High-resolution bodies, AI-driven autofocus advancements, stacked sensors, and even global shutter technology entered the conversation. The FX Cinema line grew steadily, offering creators more specialized video tools than ever before. And yet, amid all this expansion, one space remained untouched. There was no successor to the A7S III. No announcement. No teaser. No credible leak. The Sony A7S IV simply did not appear. At first, many assumed it was a matter of timing. After all, the A7S III had taken years to arrive. Patience was part of the A7S experience. But as months turned into years, patience slowly transformed into doubt. Rumors did surface occasionally, suggesting that Sony was experimenting with new sensor designs for the A7S IV. Some claimed the camera would maintain the 12-megapixel philosophy while adopting a faster stacked or backside illuminated sensor to reduce rolling shutter and improve readout speeds. Others speculated about ambitious video upgrades, including high frame rate 6K recording or extreme slow-motion 4K modes that would once again place the A7S line ahead of its time. There was also talk of next-generation AI autofocus, smarter stabilization systems, and color science improvements influenced by Sony's professional cinema cameras. None of these ideas felt unrealistic. Sony already had the technology. It already had the experience. On paper, the Sony A7S IV seemed like an obvious next step. Then, almost suddenly, the rumors stopped. Trusted sources went quiet. Industry insiders who had previously been confident became vague or openly admitted they had heard nothing. No regulatory filings surfaced. No prototype leaks appeared. The absence of information became impossible to ignore. Instead, a new narrative began to form, one centered not on the A7S IV, but on a new FX series camera, often referred to as the FX32 or a second-generation FX3. That shift in focus ignited a much larger debate within the Sony community. Was the A7S line being quietly phased out? For some creators, the idea feels unthinkable. The A7S III still holds a unique place in the market. It is a true hybrid camera, capable of both serious video work and functional photography. Not everyone wants a dedicated cinema camera. Many filmmakers rely on the flexibility that the A7S line offers, especially those who work solo or across multiple disciplines. To them, removing the S series would create a gap that no FX camera could fully replace. There is also a strong commercial argument. The A7S III continues to sell. Its reputation, compact form factor, and low light capabilities remain attractive. From a manufacturing perspective, Sony often reuses components across models, adjusting firmware and feature sets to target different audiences. Eliminating a successful product line under those conditions seems unnecessary. But others see the situation differently. Sony's lineup has grown increasingly complex. The overlap between alpha hybrids and FX cinema cameras is becoming more pronounced. Supporting so many models divides development resources and complicates long-term firmware support. From a strategic standpoint, consolidation makes sense. A single compact cinema-focused FX camera could serve filmmakers directly, while the A7 and A7R lines continue to cater to hybrid and photography-focused users. There is also a more uncomfortable question at the heart of the debate: what does the S even mean anymore? Sensitivity once defined the series. Low-light dominance was its identity. But in today's market, clean high ISO performance is no longer rare. Advances in sensor design, image processing, and AI-driven noise reduction have raised the baseline across the industry. Many hybrid shooters now prioritize resolution, oversampling, and post-production flexibility over extreme low-light specialization. In that context, the original A7S philosophy may no longer be enough to justify its own line. For those who grew up admiring what the A7S represented, its potential disappearance feels personal. It was more than a camera. It was a symbol of creative freedom. Whether the Sony A7S IV ever arrives or not, that legacy will endure in every Sony camera that delivers clean, cinematic images in impossible conditions. And so the question remains, unanswered but impossible to ignore: is the S series truly gone, or is it simply waiting, quietly, for the right moment to return?